All right, good morning, traders. Today is August 4th, 2025. Good morning, visitors and traders. Thank you, everybody here in the room. Thank you for my subscribers. Thank you, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyberland. Thank you so much for sharing, liking, and subscribing to my content. Again, visitors and traders and subscribers, I try to provide actionable, profitable content every single day in hopes that you will continue to follow me on my journey. All right, my SPY pivot this morning, 622.10. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab 5 made lower lows and lower highs, closing under bearish straps. Under the 17 EMAs, IWM, Diamond Dow, FNGU made new daily downtrends. Okay, SPY closed with a 2-hour downtrend and a 10-minute consolidation. It was kind of an uptrend. The 3 EMA was on top of the 8, but the 3 was just waffling back and forth across the 8. I'm going to call it 10-minute consolidation, or you can call it a weak 10-minute uptrend. Either way. As far as the daily downtrends go, all right, that happens when you make a lower low. So, in other words, we had a pivot pullback below the 17 in those 3, IWM, Diamond Dow, and FNGU. And then we made a lower low on Friday, okay? So we made a lower low, and that caused all of those 3 to be in a downtrend. Okay, silver still in an uptrend, made a higher low and a higher high, closing under a bearish trap and under the 17. Gold in a daily downtrend, made a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bearish trap and over the 17 EMA. USO, surprisingly, in that daily uptrend still. Made a lower low and a lower high, closing under a bullish trap, but over the 17. UNG got that head and shoulders pattern, all right, that bearish head and shoulders pattern. UNG in a daily downtrend made a higher low and a higher high, closing under a bearish trap and under the falling 17 EMA. US dollar index last week started a new uptrend, closed near the 98.68 area, and SPY max pain is 636 with a put to call ratio of about 1.3 puts to each call that expires today. Okay, so SPY max pain accordingly says that if the market makers go and target 636, that will put most of the options, make most of the options that expired today null and void. Now, keep in mind there will be some new ones started as trends start to get developed. All right, now down here, all right, right here, I've got, these are all bullish trends right here. These are all bearish trends, okay? And why would I have both even though the market was bullish, right? Because sometimes some of you people like to be delta neutral, all right? And in order to be delta neutral, you're going to have something that's going down while the market's going up. So when the market does pull back, those bearish downtrends happen to make enough to cover what the bullish charts did when they pulled back, okay? So when these dive deeper, supposedly they should, that's what makes it delta neutral, is that the bullish charts that dipped will happen to be covered. Their losses will be almost covered by the bearish charts that dip down even further. In other words, you'll get profits in the bearish charts that you shorted, all right, to cancel out the losses that you have in the bullish charts that pulled back. Now, if you see a little star next to it, okay, right here, you got stars. Okay, that means they're kind of setting up a launch pad, all right, or a grinder box where they're grinding away at the overhead supply before they make a launch out of that box area, okay? So I'm going to go through a few of these so you can see the box area, all right? And I've had quite a few that I've starred recently that have just popped out of there, so keep an eye on these. Now, if you want to trade them, my suggestion is, it's not telling you what to do, is wait for that 10-minute uptrend and I would start my entry on that 10-minute uptrend where it comes out of the bottom of the box, okay? From the bottom of the box, moving to the top of the box in that 10-minute uptrend as it transitions from the bottom of the box back up to the top of the box. Okay, so we're going to look at BYOB, GTX, and URGN real quick. All right, let's take a peek at those. And I'll head over here on the daily chart. I'm going to pick up a clean one here. Okay, we're going to start with BYOB. All right, so you can see BYOB has a box going on here. You can't see it, but you know, if you drew a box right through here, okay, you can see the price action. Again, as price 10-minute uptrends from the bottom, transitions from the bottom up to the top, okay? I like those 10-minute uptrends. That's where I like to enter, okay? So you can see as it's banging away at the overhead supply up here, it's building a launch pad, looking ready to launch. Now, remember, Friday was not a great day for the indices and a lot of stocks, okay? So you can see price action up here on Friday for BYOB, all right, was not that bad. Actually, it's a pretty nice day for BYOB as compared to the rest of the market if you look at Friday's charts for a lot of the market. So there is a launch pad being built, and typically what happens here is a 1, 2, 3 pattern. Let me get my drawing tools out here just a second. And there we go. Hold on. They're coming. All right. Trash that out. All right. And let's go back to BYOB. Okay. And what happens is you get a move to the upside. Okay. You get a move up and then a consolidation over. So that's 1. This will be 1 right here. Or A. 1 or A. And then B. This would be 1. B or 2, all right, and then 3, all right, is your bust out of the box, hopefully to the upside, right there, and this becomes your 3. Okay, now this happens on the intraday time frame as well. Okay, you'll see price action from right out of the gate. All right, when we're bullish in the morning, you'll get a big blast off. See that consolidation, and then about 10:30, 11:30, or noon. All right, they get a little breakout from the consolidation, also called an ABC or a 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3. Okay, first move up is the igniting move up. 2 is the consolidation over to the right, and then 3 is the breakout to the upside. Okay, so you'll see that on the intraday time frame as well. All right, let's take a look at GTX. Okay, GTX building a nice box there. Okay, of course, Friday's candle was not as good as BYOB's. All right, but you can see a box getting built up there. And again, I would look for a price breakout over 13.18, right through there. Okay, on GTX. What was the other one? URGN. Okay, another box getting built out, and you can see they're already starting to launch. That was a beautiful day for URGN. Nice recovery, okay, for URGN. You can see this was the last box that URGN built a launch pad and then took a rocket off, you know, took a trip up here. There was the 1, 2 consolidation, 3 was the breakout. Okay, so now you're getting another box being constructed right through here. Okay, and you're already up over the top of the box there. So I would look at an uptrend, a 10-minute uptrend over 1971. Again, stay in that trend until it ends, all right? In the end, the trend would be the 3 on top of the 8, all right? And the 3 and the 8 on top of VWAP, all right? If the 3 crosses the 8, that would be cancel the trend, okay? It's over. Take your profits, move on to the next subject. So there's URGN. Let's take a peek and see what else we got. All right, COUR and MP and RKT. We'll take a peek at those. Okay, these are just stuff I starred. Okay, MP. MPs, see the box getting constructed here. Over 83, 87, looks good. Again, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. Okay, see the consolidation box. Again, you can obviously see the 1, 2, 3 pattern in that. Okay, you got 1 up, 2 over, and we're looking for a breakout to the upside. Okay, let's take a look at COUR. Okay, another box being constructed up here. And then I think the other one was RKT. Okay, so you see that, and you're looking for, again, it's a 1, 2, 3. You gap up, so huge igniting candle up, move to the right, holding the higher ground, and look for a ride out of there. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And the last one was RKT. I think it was RKT. Let's try RKT. RKT, kind of already blowing it out, but you're about to have green erases red right over this candle right here. Okay, you can see the box got built on there. Okay, so you see consolidation over prior consolidation. That is a bullish environment. Okay, whenever you see consolidation, okay, let's call this consolidation right through there, and now we've got consolidation over it. Okay, consolidation. It's not being nice today, is it? Over it. Okay, consolidation over consolidation. That's a bullish environment. Hence, in what you get most times is a nice breakout. So here you can see another breakout right there. Okay, that's RKT. All right, let's go get some charts. Start with SPY. We're going to hit it up on the 10-minute chart. All right, so on the 10-minute chart, let's just drill down here. Let's pick up a clean one on the 10-minute. One more time. All right, you can see into the close. You can see the 3 EMA. That's the yellow line right here. The 3 EMA crosses over the 8, then comes back and kind of waffles on top. So kind of a 10-minute uptrend right there coming into the close. Not a very... notice the 3 and the candles did not break away from the 8 much. It looks more like it's straight across consolidation for me. All right, so there's price action, kind of consolidating. It's a weak 10-minute uptrend, if you want to call it. For me, it's consolidation, a weak 10-minute uptrend at best. All right, and notice it's not even over VWAP. All right, 2-hour chart. 2-hour chart, we got a downtrend, okay? Because we got the yellow 3 EMA is underneath the white 8 EMA, okay? And all 3, the price action candles, the 3 and the 8, are all underneath the 17 EMA right here, okay? So that is a 2-hour downtrend, okay? Now my favorite chart for, I don't know, maybe the last 3 weeks or the last 3 months has always been, excuse me, the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that happened to be inside of a 2-hour uptrend, that happens to be inside of a daily uptrend, that happens to be inside the weekly uptrend, that's inside the monthly uptrend, okay? There was a very rare occurrence, and I was telling traders, if you listen to my videos in the past, every single morning I would tell you about how rare that is, because right now we don't have it. Okay, was those 10-minute uptrends. And during those 10-minute uptrends, I was able to actually put together quite a few profits. All right, I'm going to share some of my profit success with you right now. Okay, so this is my profit. I started it with 27K. All right, on day 1, and that was the last open house. All right, on 7/7, I had my last open house. I usually have an open house the first Monday of every month. All right, so on 7/7, I started a new 27K account, and I trade it live in front of traders. All right, and I share my account value, the trades, my executions, and my pending orders. I share it all. All right, because I want all of y'all to succeed. All right, so I bumped that 27K account all the way up to 1.6 million right there. Okay, that's what I closed out with Friday. Okay, from 27K up to 1.6 million right there. And I track everything. I do it all live in front of you so that y'all can see exactly what I'm doing, when I'm doing it at all times. All right, track even the losers. I even had some losing days. I lost 130K there and lost 60K there. Okay, so they're not all winning days. All right, but this is what I use. All right, now I like to risk 1 to 2% of my account. Okay, that's what I like to risk. Now, if I build my account up, my goal is 1% per day. 1% per day. All right, so if I got a 27K account, I'm expected to make $270 today. Okay, it's a brand new 27K account. So now, whatever I make over my 270, I can add that to my risk. All right, so you can see on day 4, I think I already doubled my account. It was up to 70K. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so all that extra I can add to my risk. All right, so I've got my 2% plus all of the extra over the 1% schedule. All right, so you'll see on here the 1% schedule. That would be column number U, I believe. All right, is a 1% schedule. If I was to make 1% every single day, this would be the schedule. And anything over that, or column B, anything over that column, all right, is what I'm entitled to use for risk. Now, I don't use it all the time, all right, and I don't use all of it, all right, but what I do use is I'm selective about when I use it and where I use it. I want there to be a nice trend. Like I said, I want there to be a 10-minute uptrend that's inside of a 2-hour uptrend, that's inside of a daily uptrend, that's inside of a weekly uptrend, that's inside of a monthly uptrend, and I prefer all that to be over the prior all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, that's how I trade. All right, I'm able to use whatever I have in excess in my risk. Okay, now if you're not used to this, I advise you just to kind of stick with your 1 or 2%, all right, per day to risk. All right, remember when you are able to move your stop up to break even, you have eliminated your risk, and now you can go out and start a new trade or add to the current trade. Okay, you guys understand that? All right, you can add to the current trade once you've moved your stop up to break even. Now you've got no risk. Okay, there's nothing on there to risk. Everything is break even, so you don't have anything at risk. You can go and look for another trade, or you can add to that trade, or you can just ride that trade out. All right, moving your stop up piece by piece as the trade continues in your direction. All right, so that's how I trade right there. All right, and you can see right here I put row U demonstrates a trader making their minimum of 1% each day with no excess in their 27K account. All right, so this is the 1% per day, no excess. So anything I make over this, all right, I can use that in my risk. All right, so you can see my risk. If I was to risk 1%, it'd be $270. If I was to risk 2%, well, that's going to be $540, right? But if I make a couple $1,000 over the following day, the previous day, I can add that $2,000 into my $540. All right, and that gives me more to put at risk. All right, and that's why I can jump. All right, and I'm using options too. All right, I'm leveraging options. I'm using options to leverage my money. All right, so that's why I can jump from 27K up to 1.6. All right? And I do it by maintaining risk management all at the same time. All right? I'm maintaining risk management by not risking more of my account than what I need to. All right? Again, the goal is to make 1% per day. All right? If you make over that 1%, you can use that extra on the following day. Okay? You see how that works? All right? And then you can just increase. But I'm very selective about when I use my risk. Like I said, I like the 10-minute uptrend inside the 2-hour uptrend, inside the daily uptrend, it's inside the weekly, inside the monthly. It's a rare occurrence, and I was telling traders this is a rare occurrence. When we get these trades, got to kind of take advantage of them because they don't happen all the time. Sometimes there'll be a weekly that's not in an uptrend yet, or a 2-hour that's not in an uptrend, but the monthly and the daily are in the weekly and the monthly are still in an uptrend. You see what I'm saying? When you got all of those time frames pushing price up, that's the ideal state for me. That's when all of them are just filling the wind in my sails and pushing my stock up higher and higher, or pushing my index up higher, okay? I like that when they're all in unison, working in the same direction. I don't know if you've ever traded before. I don't know everybody's experience, but if you've ever traded and you're trading an uptrend in your security, but the market's in a downtrend, you find it's much tougher to get that security moving higher, all right? Because the market trend is moving against you. And that's why I like all the time frames working in unison, working with me, okay? Because I say it over and over and over. That's how I do it. That's what I'm looking for. This is the ideal state. Because I want you guys to succeed, okay? That's what I want. All right, so I'm sharing with you my success and how I got there, okay? Again, I'm taking the excess and adding it to my risk amount for the day. Okay, I have a goal amount and I have a risk amount. All right, I need to make my 1% each day. Okay, all right, I'm going to take that out of the way. Got a 2-hour downtrend. Let's take a look at the daily chart. Okay, the first low we come to that's below the 17 is down here. Okay, that's 591. All right, right now, the SPY chart on the daily time frame, notice no poke of the 17 here, is still in an uptrend. Two big red ugly candles, all right, and notice the candle is below the 17 right here, okay? But we haven't broke this low. We have not made a lower low. Are we making lows? Yes, absolutely. Have we made a lower low? Not yet. Not till we get down here. Okay, that will be the lower low down here. If we take out that low, SPY goes into a downtrend. All right, this is a pullback. As you see these red dots appear day after day, this will be a pullback in the downtrend. How far do I expect it to pull back? Well, I expect it to pull back to the prior all-time high. Okay, that's 613 over here. See this shelf of price action? You actually got a peak, a valley, and then another peak right here. Okay, I expect price to probably pull back to that 613. How fast does it get there? We might get there today, and I won't be surprised. All right, and we might get there by the end of the week, and I won't be surprised. All right, and then whatever other targets are manifesting in the same area may also be targets if we get below that. Okay, if we get below 613 and we don't J-hook or bounce off of this area, then I'd probably start looking at 600.50. All right, that will be the next target down. If we get below 613.50, we'll just call it 613 straight. Okay, if we get below that. All right, so there's SPY, daily chart, still in an uptrend. All right, what we got is a pullback in the uptrend. Okay, it's not a downtrend yet. On the weekly chart, all right, notice everything's still up over the 17. Still have a weekly uptrend. In order to get a weekly downtrend, we actually have to come all the way back here and take out 480. Okay, in order to get a weekly downtrend, we have to make a lower low than this valley right there. On the monthly chart, okay, in order to get a monthly downtrend, we have to come all the way back to 480, same spot as the weekly, and take out that low right there in order to get a monthly downtrend. Currently, we're in a monthly uptrend right now. Okay, so weekly is in an uptrend, monthly uptrend, and even the daily with these two red candles pulling back under right here is still in an uptrend. All right, I have targets of 655. We'll see what happens. If they can recover this today, I think there's a good chance we J-hook off of 613 area. How far we J-hook back, if we actually come all the way back up to the highs, I will like that. I don't know how far back they want to J-hook. We'll see what happens. That's the daily chart for SPY. On the game plan, let's take a peek at the game plan. All right? All right. SPY pivot, remember what I said, 622.10. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Okay? We have a green erases red entry over 624.70. Okay? So here's the red pullback here. Green wipes out red right up here over 624.70 right there. There is a green erases red entry. All right? You need a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP for that entry, okay? 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. Okay, got a red erases green entry. All right, so here's the pullback up to 625.75. Red erases green entry underneath 620.20. All right, 620.20. Underneath this is a red erases green entry. I trade options, okay? Because I get to leverage my money. Remember, I want to grow my account fast. All right? I like 4 days till expiration and 11 days till expiration. I like Friday options. So those are 4 days till expiration, Friday options, 11 days till expiration, Friday options. And I like them on the multiple of 5. All right? So if I'm buying calls, all right, and I like them $3 to $15 out of the money. So if I'm buying calls, and price is currently $625. I like $630. I like $635. I like $640. Okay, that's what I like. All right, $15 up to $15 out of the money. Okay, now if you want the best performing option, all right, most of the time it's going to be that 0 DTE. All right, in the money option. But let me just say, that will be probably be the best performing option. If you look around and see the performance of all the options that you could have traded today instead of the 4 DTE Friday option on the multiple of 5, okay, if you look at the other ones and see their performance, okay, you'll see that they would have cost you more and that made you put up more at risk in order to trade better performance, okay? So if you want performance out of your option, all right, you're going to be putting up more risk. All right, me, I like a little less risk, and I like to trade. I like to trade out of the money options. All right, because I'm okay with taking less performance, especially when I'm first starting out. Okay, now am I not going to trade 0 DTE options? No, I'm going to trade some 0 DTE options. I'm going to trade some 1 DTE options. But first, I want to build my account up first, okay? I want to get a little bit of extra. I like to have like a couple $1,000s extra, all right, to swing around. When I've got that going on, that's when I'm going to start drilling down into those zeros and ones. Now, there's a time for me. I like to wait till about 10:30 when all those 0 DTEs and 1 DTEs kind of settle down. All right, they kind of like find their proper spot, because before then there's a lot of price manipulation, especially from the beginning of the day when we gap around. All right, so from that I like to wait till 10:30. All right, let some of that theta decay come out of there, and that's when I usually like to find those. And I like to have the nice 10-minute uptrend at the time. All right, so anyways, I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. I like either one. I like them when they're breaking away from VWAP. All right, in other words, that 10-minute trend is breaking away and separating itself from VWAP. Okay, I like 10-minute uptrends. All right, I may have a 10-minute uptrend that manifests or originates, okay, long before the green erases red entry. In other words, it's way down here, a 10-minute uptrend that manifests down here. Okay, in order for me to take it, I like to see it break the rubber band candle or pass through the pivot. Okay, one of those two things. I like to see it either break that rubber band candle on the point of interest, okay? And the point of interest is almost all the time VWAP, okay? Occasionally it's a uptrend line or a downtrend line, but I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. So while we're up here, if we get a 10-minute downtrend that happens to manifest up here today, long before the red erases green entry down here, okay? If it breaks the rubber band candle, I'll be highly interested in trading that to the downside, especially down to the pivot. All right, if they consolidate on the pivot and hold this area, I will look for them to make another move to the downside. That's what I'm going to be looking for, okay? So if I get a 10-minute uptrend and it happens to originate long before my green erases red, again, I can trade it, all right? But it's got to break the rubber band candle or it's got to be above the pivot, one of the two. Preferably both, really. Preferably both. And Alexandria Davis asked me a question. Hey, John, can you share your Excel template? You'd like a copy. There actually is one right up here. Okay, I'm going to try to get it up there without messing everything up. Okay, I'm trying. It's not easy. This thing doesn't slide. Got multiple monitors here. Okay, so and there's lots of goodies here too, Alexandria. Come on up here. You see up here in files? Do you see this? Okay, on your chat room. Okay, click it. All right, you see files right here on your chat room after you selected that. Okay, so now you come down and there it is. Right there, June 3rd. Okay, BYOB daily goal schedule, risk schedule, account tracker version 4 on June 3rd. Just click it. All right, click download. See how it just shot up there? There it is. Okay, and it's all yours. All right, and there's some other goodies in here. All these images here. All these nice little slides. Don't print them out, okay? Get yourself a little thumb drive or, little USB thumb drive where you can store it. Make a folder in there, and because they're all black ink. Now I use black charts because the white hurts my eyes. Okay, so don't try and print these out. They'll use up all of your ink. Just put them in there, make a folder, just say little lessons, okay? And put them in there, that'll help you out. Okay? All of these, okay? You don't need that one. But all of these are little slides to help you out, help you understand what I'm looking for and what I like to trade. Okay? All of this. Okay? Right through there. All little slides while you guys are here. Okay. So there's some nice little freebies right there. All right, let me see if I can get this back down here. All right. In case you guys don't know it, all right, I do. And you're new here. I see you've got a little bit more. Okay. You're new here. I do free 15-minute coaching. Okay? Free 15-minute coaching because I want you to succeed. All right? I can do this all day long, but I need you to do it. Okay? You are my testimony that what I'm teaching works. All right? Again, I do free 15-minute coaching because I want you to succeed. That's never been done before. Okay? I don't know if you've ever been to another trading room or another service that does free coaching for you. Okay? I didn't have this when I was learning. All right? This is rare, okay? All right? That's how much I'm committed to helping you become the best you can be. But please remember, you're not trading against a market maker. You're not trading against Mitchell or Roasted or Doug or Rick or Ed. You're not trading against them. You will always be trading against yourself. All right? It will all come down to your knowledge and your ability to read the charts and the candlesticks. Hey, good to see you, Francois. All right? It'll always come down to you trading against yourself. All right? It's you that you're trading against. Okay? If you can clear the path and learn the patterns, the setups, conquer your fears, okay? You can become the same trader that I am. It does not happen overnight, okay? That was one of my best months ever, okay? The month before, I only did 800,000, okay? Last month, okay, was phenomenal, 1.6 million. I mean, I had already doubled the account on day 3. All right? Okay, it doesn't happen all the time, but I'm getting better and better. All right? I'm getting faster and faster. Then again, I also had my perfect setup, and I've already explained it. It's the 10-minute uptrend, inside the 2-hour uptrend, inside the daily uptrend, inside the monthly uptrend, okay? All right, when you got all of that pushing together, okay, I have very little fear when I am in that 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. Okay, I have very little fear when I'm in that. Okay, which hence, kind of like frees the whole sky for me to fly. All right, so there's the game plan for SPY. Okay, now this is not going to be relevant, is it, if we gap up to 525.47 this morning, okay? So we will, before I end this part of the video, before I end it, we'll go up there and reevaluate what's going on, all right? Because usually economic numbers come out about 8:30, all right? And they tend to shadow what's going on, and we'll take a look at it again just before the open. That way you'll have a good idea of how I'm going to trade SPY after the market opens. I mean, this is provided, price was be around here inside the range between the green line and the red line, okay? But right now you can see we're gapping up, all right? So we've already passed the green erases red entry right there. All right, so let's go visit QQQ. All right, here's QQQ. I give you a QQQ game plan. Okay, every day, I don't know if you know it, I come up with a game plan. All right, I give you one for the QQQ, one for the SPY, as well as some of the other members in here share their game plan as well. All right, so you get a perspective that somebody else has a game plan, and you can see the difference between us. All right, I like that. Okay, so here's QQQ. The pivot, 554.30. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Red erases green. All right, red erases green under 551.95. Green erases red. You can see we're already up over it, over 557.80. All right. I like 4 days and 11 days till expiration. Friday options. Fridays because they got more open interest. All right. And on the multiple of 5, because on the multiple of 5, you'll notice there's more open interest. Okay. And I like them $3 to $15 out of the money. Okay. So if I'm buying calls, I will be looking at, probably 560 calls, 565, 570. Okay. Maybe 575 calls. Okay. Again, I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Okay, I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. Again, same thing. If an uptrend happens to manifest down here, long before the green erases red entry, okay, and it breaks the rubber band candle, I will be highly interested in trading it back to VWAP, back to the pivot, and maybe back to whatever the prior day's open was. Okay, and if we get, because we're all the way up here, a 10-minute downtrend that happens to manifest up here long before the red erases green entry down here, okay, if it happens to manifest up here, all right, I will look to trade that if it breaks the rubber band candle or the pivot. All right, the 10-minute rubber band bearish rubber band candle. Okay, each side of VWAP there will be a 10-minute bullish rubber band candle and a 10-minute bearish rubber band candle. Okay, there'll even be a 5-minute bullish rubber band candle and a 5-minute bearish rubber band candle, bearish and bullish. Okay, so there's QQQ. There's the game plan for QQQ. Let's look at QQQ on the daily chart. All right, let's pick it up here. All right, and you can see price action. All right, in order for QQQ to be in a downtrend, we have to pop this low right here. Okay, 523. Got to pop that low. Right now, we're in a pullback in an uptrend. It's not a downtrend. It's a pullback in a downtrend. Excuse me, pullback in an uptrend on the daily chart. Weekly chart, still uptrend. Monthly chart, still uptrend. Okay, so there's QQQ. All right, let's take a look at a few of the other ones. All right, start off with IWM. Okay, now notice IWM has, see this spike below the 17 right here? Okay, that's a low. All right, and we turn around. Now, notice Thursday, we weren't below it. Okay, but Friday, after Friday completed, we got below this, and we made a lower low. So IWM is no longer in an uptrend. It's in a downtrend. Okay, now in order to negate this downtrend that it's in, it has to make a higher high. So it's got to come all the way back up here and take out the rally high. Okay, all the way up. You see this peak way up there? That's the rally high. It's got to come all the way back up there and take out that rally high. If it does that, it negates the downtrend and converts the uptrend back to the upside, okay? That's what we got. Now, if we look at IWM, okay, we're not in the upper third anymore, okay? We were in the upper third. Upper third would be right here of the quad lines, okay? Lower third, this is the quad lines. Separate this high from this low into sections of 3, okay? The upper third is the bullish, the lower third is the bearish, and in between is the neutral, okay? This is the neutral. Well, we're back in the neutral zone, okay? We're back in the neutral zone, all right? And we're in a downtrend, okay? That means we're on the daily chart, we're moving down, meaning probably all of the time frames below the daily are, most of those are probably in a downtrend as well. From the looks of this tail, I'll bet the 10 minutes probably in an uptrend when we left off. It was sketchy. No, it wasn't even there. All right, not even the 2 minute is in an uptrend there. See that? Not even the 2 minute. Let's try the 30 minute. Yep, they're all in downtrends. All right, so there's IWM. All right, now IWM is the ticker symbol for Russell 2000. All right, so we watch that. That's got probably the most securities inside it of the Fab 5 because FNGU only has 10, NASDAQ has 100, S&P 500 has 500, obviously, all right, and Diamond Dow has 30, all right? So this is the one with the most securities. So this is going to give you a much broader view, but it's mostly all small caps and mid caps. Keep in mind, QQQ and SPY have weighted stocks as well as Diamond Dow have weighted securities inside them. That means they give some securities more weight than others, all right? Just kind of unfair, but that's just the way that they operate, and they tend to move up, year after year, with gains, which makes it nice, all right, if you got a portfolio that's invested in the market. Okay, so there's IWM, okay? You can see right now in a daily downtrend, all right? Now we look at price, all right? When price moves up and holds the higher ground, that's bullish. When price moves up and gives it up, that's neutral, okay? You can see IWM went up and gave it up, so it's just neutral, okay? But on the smaller time frame, on the 30-minute, look at what it did. It moved down and held the lower ground. This is a 1, 2, 3, believe it or not. Down, build a platform, a staging platform, and then down again. 1 is the igniting move down. 2 is the consolidation over to the right. And then 3 is the next move down. And then they built another staging platform over to the right. More consolidation over to the right. Typically, goes down again, and hence you get this pattern that looks like a lightning bolt sometimes. All right, it goes down, little pullback, goes down, little pullback, goes down. Okay, you get the lightning bolt. But what you're seeing here is down, consolidate, and then who knows? Now we're coming back. Okay, so we'll see what happens today. All right, remember the market's not even open yet. All right, so there's IWM in a daily downtrend. Okay, let's take a look at FNGU. All right, now we watch FNGU. It's got 10 big cap stocks in there most of the time. All right, most of the time they're all 10 mega caps. Okay, big cap. I mean, I'm talking like 2 trillion, 3 trillion, 4 trillion. All right, those are the ones like Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta. Okay, so this has 10 of the most heavily weighted stocks in the QQQ and the SPY. That's right, QQQ has weighted stocks, SPY has weighted stocks. Okay, they give them more weight. All right, and because they're weighted, all right, they carry a lot of clout. So when they happen to move as a pack together, all right, they kind of drag the index along with it most of the time. Okay, so that's why we watch FNGU. All right, so you can see it's almost the exact same candle you saw in SPY and QQQ. The only difference is, notice the low here below the 17, we made a lower low. So FNGU is in a downtrend. Okay, but it's bullish. All right, so it's bullish because it's still in the upper third. All right, so, but it's in a daily downtrend. Okay, now they can be in a downtrend and still hold the higher ground up here. Okay, notice price moving up. So far, holding this higher ground. Okay, almost looking like they're ready to move up and give it up. Okay, remember IWM went up and then back. They gave it up. Okay, maybe FNGU will do the same. They go up. See, there's from this low up to this high. Possibly they give it up. Maybe they make a higher low and then they rock it off and start the next section of the lightning bolt. All right, we'll see. All right, we'll see. Right now, daily downtrend because they made a lower low. Now, if they take out the high, they will negate the daily downtrend and convert the uptrend. So there's FNGU. All right, let's take a look at Diamond Dow. All right, notice we got a low right here below the 17, and we made a lower low. Okay, see that move up, give it up. Now what I like to watch for is this. All right, this is what I like to watch for. Price to move up from the bottom of the consolidation, all right, and then pull back to the top of the consolidation and then bounce off the top. That would be the minor support and make a new high. That's what I like to see. Okay, we're not quite there yet. Okay, notice we come from the bottom of the consolidation, okay, up to here. Now I'd like to see this green line right here. I'd like to see it come down to the top of this consolidation. Let's just imagine that this was the top of the box, okay, and then take it from there, bounce off of minor support, and J-hook and make a new high. That's what I like to see. That's a sign of bullish trend, okay? So that's what I'd like to see. Maybe IWM can get it done. Maybe Diamond Dow can get it done. We'll see, all right? Right now in SPY, again, we're looking for the pullback to the prior all-time high, which is 613. So there's Diamond Dow, also in a downtrend, but bullish up here in quadrant 4. Notice it's still consolidation over prior consolidation. That's what makes it bullish, okay? You get consolidation. Notice it's still above prior consolidation. That's what makes it bullish up there. Okay, not to mention you're on top of, all right, the all-time high, which is this pink line. All right, let's take a look at a few technicals. T2122. All right, we spent the day in the oversold zone on Friday. All right, so chances are we're going to bounce, and you can see we're already bouncing in the pre-market. We'll see. Okay, they got to break this downtrend line. All right, they got to get up on top of this area and hold to break the downtrend line. All right, got to get up on top of that. They're in the oversold zone. They got to break the downtrend line, get up on top of it. We'll see where they open up, how far they were willing to drive it today or fly it. This T2122. Okay, you can see that pullback right through there. T2123. Okay, this is the rally high right up there. Okay, it's in a downtrend because we keep making lower lows. See, there's a low. We made a lower low, so it's in a downtrend. Okay, we're under the rising 200 SMA. Okay, but we're up over 2 prior all-time high anchored VWAPs. All right, we're in a downtrend, and haven't really made. We made some lower lows here. All right, like to see us recover. This would be the rubber band candle day, okay, on a 15-minute chart or a daily chart. Okay, this would be the spike. This would be the rubber band candle day. Maybe they can make their way back up on top of the 200 SMA. We'll find out later today or this week. All right, so there's T2123 15-minute chart. Same chart coming up on a 3-bar time frame, different time frame. Now notice on the 3-bar time frame, you have a low right here, and you got a higher low. Okay, we have not taken out that low. So on the 3-bar, you're in an uptrend, whereas on the 15, you're not. Okay, 3-bar is still in an uptrend on T2123. You're up over the 200 SMA. Notice on the bigger time frame, we're in uptrends. Okay, that's important. You always look to the higher time frame. That's going to be your more reliable time frame. Okay, the higher time frame is always going to be the more reliable one, because you're going to get inside of a 2-hour uptrend, you're going to get maybe 15, 16 3-minute downtrends, 3-minute uptrends. All right, 15 or 16 of each. All right, just count on it. All right, inside of a 2-hour uptrend or a 2-hour downtrend. Okay, hence they're not as reliable as the 2-hour because it's a bigger time frame. So this is the 3-bar. All right, it's a little bit longer than 120 minutes, 130 minutes. Okay, this is the 3-bar chart. We're in an uptrend. Okay, now you're dealing with Okay, if we look over here to the left, okay, you were dealing with these areas right here. See this consolidation. That low, that low, that high, that high. So that's what we're dealing with. Okay, notice I'll put the crosshairs up, and you'll see we got past this low, and we're dealing with these two double tops right up there. Okay, if we'd have got over those right there, those two double tops, okay, there was nothing stopping us other than the all-time high. Okay, so we're dealing with this consolidation right through here. Notice it lasts about a month and a couple weeks. Okay, right there. So we're not going to cut through there in one 4-hour candle. Okay, it's going to take us, maybe we might do some jockeying around, some waffling around up here, okay, before we finally break through. Okay, we'll see what happens, all right? I hear a lot of mention of stagflation and this and that. We'll see what happens. It is what it is, and we'll watch it to see what it does. Okay, so there's T2123. You can see all it has to deal is these two highs, and then that's the all-time high right there. Right there underneath the hand right there. That's the all-time high. We are ever so close right now to making a new all-time high. If you look at this with the quad lines on here, you're up in quadrant 4. That is bullish still, all right? Still bullish, all right? And you're up on top of the 3-bar chart. So even on the 15, you're still bullish way up here, okay, even though the 15's in a downtrend. That's the 15-minute chart. Okay, we'll take a peek at FNGU. All right, this would be the price action for the 1st of August, selling from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. And notice the price action is down and hold the lower ground. Typically, this is what comes next. We'll wait and see. Okay, right now we're gapping up. All right, right now we're gapping up. So we'll see what happens. Okay, notice we got a bearish gap down that was not filled by the bulls. Okay, that's showing some weakness on the bulls' part and some strength on the bears' part. And we're underneath the 200 SMA. Now they can make one more candle down. All right, and that will be the rubber band candle on the FNGU. All right. Right now, we're in a downtrend because we're making lower lows. See the low? We made a lower low. So on the 15-minute chart, we're in a downtrend. And we're under the 200 SMA. Okay? On the daily chart, if they happen to make another lower low, they're already in a daily downtrend. But that will be the rubber band candle from the point of interest of the 200 SMA. Right there. Okay? Let's go take a look at a few sectors real quick. All right, and then I'll see if I can get this video out in time. XLE, there's our energy sector. Okay, you're making higher lows. See the lows? You're making higher lows. You're making higher highs. Haven't made a higher high here. Okay, notice XLE got a habit of moving up and giving it up. See it? Can you see the move up, give it up? Every time it gets to the pink line, it's like it got burned. All right? It's like it touched a hot stove. Every time it gets up there. This is a wind-up, if you didn't know that. All of this is a wind-up to go higher. All right? Keep an eye on Devon Energy. All right? I think that's the one. Let's see here. Dominion Energy. Yeah. Keep an eye. See that breakout coming here? Dominion Energy. All right, so there's price action. So it's just neutral, all right? Because it's not in the upper third, it's not in the lower third. Okay, so it's just neutral in here, okay? Again, neutral. Okay, up here, bullish. Down here, bearish. Okay, still in an uptrend, all right? Because it hasn't made a lower low yet. All right, so there's still, it's in a pullback in the uptrend. If they make a lower low here, they will negate the uptrend and convert to downtrend. But still in the neutral territory right there. Okay? So there's the XLE. That's the energy sector. Okay, notice still caught underneath this all-time high anchored VWAP. Caught underneath downtrend line 1, but over downtrend line 2. Okay, that's XLE. Let's take a look at USO. Okay, this is petroleum crude oil right there. Not the prettiest candle yesterday or Friday. Okay, lower low, lower high, closing in the upper third. So that's still bullish up there. Okay, again, you've got consolidation over prior consolidation. That's still bullish. Okay, you're making higher lows and higher highs. We have not made a higher high for this one yet. I don't know if they ever will. All right, they may put in a higher low here and then make another higher high there. Okay, notice they went up, made a high here, pulled back, and then made a higher high. If they ever take this high out, I don't know. We'll see. All right, but they're bullish because they're in the upper third. All right, and they're still in an uptrend. Okay, they haven't made any lower lows, so they're still in an uptrend. That's USO. UNG. All right, UNG is in a downtrend. Okay, what you got here is a bearish head and shoulders. See this triple top? That's the head. Okay, you got the right shoulder. Is this double top? Okay, doesn't have to be a double top. Okay, I'm just pointing it out. This double top is the left shoulder. Right shoulder, left shoulder. Okay, we're looking for the right arm to extend down to where the left arm left off. If you don't know it, that right there is the all-time low right there. Okay, we are in a downtrend because notice, see all the red dots? We keep making lower lows. All right, so this is the bearish head and shoulders pattern, and you see it. We got a break of the neckline right here. Okay, this would be left neck, right neck. All right, and you can see price pops through the neckline, pulls back and tests it, fails to close candles up above there, and hence they melt off down here in quadrant 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 down here, quadrant 1. That's bearish. Again, anytime you're in the lower third, remember, that's bearish down here. Okay, so bearish and in a downtrend. Okay, because you're making lower lows. Okay, you got a low here. There's 4 lows there. There's a lower low, an even lower low, an even lower low, an even lower low. You get the deal. Okay. It's in a downtrend. They keep making lower lows. Okay? And you're in that bearish head and shoulders pattern that broke the neckline. So there's UNG off the test, all-time lows. Maybe they make a new all-time low. Maybe they don't. We'll see. Maybe they double bottom and they head back to this anchored VWAP. This is an 18-month anchored VWAP right there. Okay? UNG. Take a look at gold and silver. Gold's in a downtrend because, see these lows right here below the 17? They made a lower low. Okay, so that's a downtrend for gold. But notice they're still holding the 300 number. Okay, they've been up over the 300 for a while. Now you look at this price action. That's at the top of quadrant 4. That is bullish. Okay, look at the way price moves. Okay, this is up and holding the higher ground. That's bullish. That building some kind of a launch pad here. Okay, I don't know if they're going to put a space station up there or not. Okay, but that is some kind of a launch pad going on. Okay, they're in a daily downtrend, but you're going to get that when you consolidate for 3-4 months near the all-time highs. These are the all-time highs up here. All 4 of these. Okay. You're going to get that when you consolidate way up there. Okay, so that's gold, technically in a downtrend, but not moving down. All right, there's the clincher right there, not moving down. Okay, so there's gold. Let's take a look at silver. All right, here's silver. Again, you've got consolidation over prior consolidation. That's what makes it bullish. It's up there in quadrant 4. That's bullish. Okay, you are in an uptrend. You're in a pullback in the uptrend. If you make a lower low, and that's this tail right here, this is the first one you come to below the 17. If you make a lower low, you will negate the uptrend and convert the downtrend. Okay, so far, they're holding on to the uptrend. and they're holding on to the bullish zone 4 way up here. Okay, that's silver on the daily chart, bullish and in an uptrend. Take a look at a few sectors. SMH, quadrant 4, that's bullish, still in an uptrend. Notice it's a long way before they break anything below the 17. All the way right here. This is the first one you come to. See how far back they have to go? SMH, bullish and in an uptrend. Notice all the way up here at the top of quadrant 4. If you look at SMH, just 3 days ago, they made a new all-time high. Look at that. Just 3 trading days ago. Okay, let's take a look at XLK. Okay, 2 days ago, they made a new all-time high. This is the technology sector. Again, bullish and in an uptrend. In order to get the downtrend, they got to come all the way down here. See this candle that popped below this? I don't even know if that one got below it. No, it didn't. Okay, so they got to come all the way down here to get a downtrend going. That's a long drop. Okay, that's XLK. Let's take a look at XLF. Okay, XLF in a downtrend. See the low? They made a lower low. Okay, but consolidating, still consolidating over prior consolidation. That's bullish. Okay, not the prettiest of consolidations. Okay, but it's still above prior consolidation. That's bullish. Top of quadrant 4, actually the middle of quadrant 4. That's bullish, and still and in a downtrend. Okay, bullish and in a downtrend. Okay, pull back right there. Okay. Let's see if they go up and they give it all right back up. All right, we'll see what happens. That's XLF. Let's take a look at IYT. All right, IYT, notice going up, giving it up right here. It's on minor support right now. I would look for this to J-hook. Doesn't mean it has to. But you can see price action is now back underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line. Okay, price action, lower high, lower low. Closing under a bearish trap is always bearish. Closing under the red 17, the falling 17, that's almost always bearish as well. But you can see they no longer hold the upper third, okay, which was right here. They were bullish when they were up there, and they just gave it all up right there. Okay, so no longer in the upper third. So they're just neutral. Again, you go up and you give it up, okay? Okay, that's just neutral. Okay, that's IYT. Let's take a look at the economic package. And we'll take a look at it right here. Let's run through the dollar first, okay? Dollar. Let's look at the dollar, okay? The last time we were down at these lows was 2022, not 19. 2022 we were down at these lows. Okay? That's the last time we were all the way down here. See where we got? 2022. Okay? And you got two peaks. Alright? You got this peak and this peak. Okay? So this would be major support if you were up here. Major support if you're up here. Okay? Notice price broke major support. Okay? So you can see price, this would be the major support. All these valleys of this consolidation, that's the major support. Okay, they broke through major support. You can see they came down, they tried to get back up on top of it and recover it, and they failed. So right now they're in a bear flag, all right, but because they made, okay, a higher low and a high, see the high and a higher high, they're now in a daily uptrend. Okay, so there's the dollar in a daily uptrend because they made a higher low and a higher high. Okay, so there's the US dollar. Okay, they're still underneath. Now this major support becomes minor resistance. Okay, when you're underneath it, that major support becomes minor resistance. So we'll see if they can get back up through there. All right, there's the dollar. All right, now in an uptrend, but also in a bear flag. Earnings. What do we got for today? Platinier after the close. Mercado Libre after the close. Platinier 373 billion. Mercado Libre 120 billion. Veritex 117 billion. And you can see some familiar companies here, but nothing that's going to move the market. It's Tuesday. What do we got? Advanced Micro Devices. Okay, now that's a hot one. 285 billion. Tech usually comes after the close. Caterpillar 206 billion in the morning. Amgen, I think that's pharmaceuticals, 158 billion. Arista 154 billion. Eaton Corp, I'm pretty sure that's electronics. I know they make electric panels because I got one in my house. All right, 150 billion. Pfizer 132 billion. Okay, all capable, all big familiar names, but not really market movers. Okay, AMD will probably be the most of the market movers right there so far between these 2 days. And I'm saying that because the hot topic right now is AI, okay? And they make graphics cards. And you need graphics cards that handle large amounts of data, all right? And they have that ability, all right? So AI, we are in the middle of an AI bubble. That's my belief. Wednesday, McDonald's, 216 billion. Novo Nordisk, 215 billion. Walt Disney, 209 billion. Uber Technologies, I don't know why they call it technologies, 181 billion. Shopify, 153 billion. Sony Corp, 148 billion. Applovian, 128 billion. DoorDash, 105 billion. And again, all familiar names. None of these are really going to be market movers. All right, not like Meta, not like Amazon, Apple. All right. Thursday, Eli Lilly, 722 billion. That's capable of moving the markets right there. And that happens Thursday morning. Okay, Toyota Motor, they got a dash, so we don't know when they were ready to report. Again, Mitsubishi, I think both of those come out of Japan, so it may be a while before they figure it out. Who knows when they're going to report or if they're going to put their P&L or delay it. We'll see what happens. Gilead Science, 140 billion. That's Thursday evening. All right, ConocoPhillips, that's going to be retail. They sell oil and gas. 117 billion. They're going to be in the morning. Brookfield Corp, 107 billion. Constellation Energy, 106 billion. Right there. Again, the only one that's really capable of moving the markets is Eli Lilly. I think it really will have very little effect on the markets. I don't think whatever numbers they come out, even if they blow it out of the water, I don't think it's going to like really tank, rip the markets to new highs. Okay, Friday. Everybody just familiar names, but nothing that's going to move the markets right there on Friday. Okay, on the economic calendar, factory orders come out at 10 o'clock today. Motor vehicle sales usually around 7 o'clock. We'll see. Tomorrow, international trade goods and services, 8:30. PMI composite final, 9:45. ISM services index, 10 o'clock. Really light day today and tomorrow. Okay, Wednesday. Petroleum report at 10:30. MBA mortgage application 7 o'clock. And another light day on Wednesday. On Thursday, jobless claims 8:30. Productivity and cost 8:30. Wholesale inventories 10 o'clock. Gas report at 10:30. Consumer credit at 3. Again, another light day. Let me just say, wherever they want to move the market this week, there's no economic data here that's really going to destroy their direction. Okay, so if they're moving down, which may be to 613, we'll see. We'll know today. All right, we'll know this week if they're headed for 613. Okay, but wherever they want to go, it's free reign. I don't see any big cap earnings. It's going to destroy their direction, and I don't see any economic events here. The only thing that can mess it up for them is Trump tariff news, okay? And that's liable to come out at any minute. So you might as well just continue with what you're doing, all right? That's it, really. And then max pain for today, 636. Put to call ratio, 1.29 calls. Excuse me, 1.29 puts to each call. Got a lot of questions I see here. And I see Ed's answering a lot of that. Thank you so much, Ed. Appreciate that. Trader X, per Google VWAP or volume weighted average is a trading indicator that shows average price. Yes, that's true. Somebody was asking. Thank you, Trader X. Thank you. Got that. And Trader X got it. And he printed something there. IYT monthly, bearish, weekly, bearish, daily, bearish. 60-minute bearish, 30-minute bearish, 10-minute bearish. Yeah, it's a pretty nice setup there. I'd like to have that for like right on my desktop with SPY and QQQ and all of them. That's nice. I like that, Trader X. Yeah, one grid that shows them all. I'd like to have one grid that shows the Fab 5. Love it, Trader X. Nice. If that's on TC2000, show me how to make it. All right. We got 8 minutes before we open. I'm not going to get my video out in time. Thank you to Jim. Thank you, everybody. Got a lot of new people, and I want them to be prepared. All right. So, all right. I trade. I'm mainly an index trader. Okay. I'm not against trading securities. Okay. I'm not against it at all. All right. But I'm mainly an index trader because I got lots of liquid options on the SPY and the QQQ. So I favor those the most, okay? Now, I'm going to be looking for a 10-minute uptrend or a 10-minute downtrend, okay? So let me just head off to SPY. And it's more than likely that whichever direction SPY goes into, QQQ will probably head off in the same direction, all right? It's very rare that there's a 10-minute downtrend in one and a 10-minute uptrend in the other. Very rare. Very rare. Okay, so let's go off. Let's start this. Get the pre-market up there. Okay. Just want to point out, we got consolidation over prior consolidation. Okay, so I'm going to mark off this. What I'm going to do first. I'm going to mark off the high. Okay, I'm going to mark off the consolidation low. All right, I'm going to mark off the post-market low. All right, probably won't even matter, okay? The big deal is gap fill. Are they going to gap fill? If the bears don't get the gap fill, that's weakness on their part. Okay, if they fail to fill gap before 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, that's weakness on their part. Look for the 10-minute uptrends to trade bullishly. Okay, it's very possible we just consolidate over to the right. We'll see what happens, all right? So here's the range. If we get a breakout to the upside of the range, I will be interested in calls. If we get a breakout to the downside, I will be interested in puts. Okay? If we happen to stay inside this range, I will also mark off the first 15 minutes. So I'm going to go to a 5-minute chart. Okay, I'm just going to block off the first 15 minutes. Whoever breaks those 15 minutes, all right, I'll probably go with their direction. Right now, you can see price over VWAP, come back test VWAP, got under VWAP, now over VWAP, all right, just going back and forth. Okay, this is slop and chop right here. You want a trend that rips away from VWAP. Okay, you might not get it. Remember, look for the halfway point. Okay, remember this is the market high, and here's the low. Okay, so let's put a different colored line right there. Let's put a yellow line. Okay, that's the midpoint. Let's move it up. Where is it? Yeah, it goes right about. Trying to find it. Yeah, right there. No, right there. That's the market midpoint. Okay? I would imagine they're probably going to want to test this anchored VWAP. to see if they can get back through it. And I want to look for them to challenge the all-time high anchored VWAP to see if they can get through that. So there's a good chance we're going to go up here and challenge these sometime today. Might not be this morning, might not be today. If they decide to sell off, all right, we could go down all day to 613. All right? But after they challenge these, if they fail to get on top and hold, chances are we're going to come back and challenge these lows and the gap fill. And if they fail to hold or we consolidate down here, then there's a good chance we go to 613. Okay, so look for them to run up here because they're bullish. Consolidation over prior consolidation. They're bullish now. They're likely to challenge these first. And we're going to look for them to hold for more than 6 10-minute candles. Okay? If they hold for more than 6 10-minute candles, okay, that means they're committed. They're probably committed to going higher. All right? So let's watch for a breakout to the upside and see how committed they are to holding the higher highs up here. Okay, that's the plan. Hey, thanks, John. Appreciate that. All right, I'm going to see if I can get this rendered. And I'm going to be right here, and I'm going to talk to you about what I'm doing. Again, I'm starting a new 27K account. And let's pull that up right there. Okay, so I don't have any positions. All right, now I'm going to share my screen. Okay, entire screen. All right, so there's screen 3. Okay, and then here comes screen 4. Okay, and that's going to be this one right here. Okay, screen 4 has no trades because I haven't done anything yet. Okay. All right, new 27K account. Now you can see on screen 3, it says 27K up there. All right, let's see if I can get this rendered.